Good morning, sweet ladies, and thank you for joining us in Far Above Rubies today. I'm so very glad that each of you are here. Today, as we continue our walk through the book of Romans, we are looking at Romans chapter 7, verses 7 through 13, and we're going to talk about protecting, not withholding. Verse 13 says this: Sin used what was good to bring about my condemnation to death. So we can see how terrible sin really is. It uses God's good commands to fulfill its own evil purposes. It uses God's good commands for its own evil purposes. Okay, the whole tone of this passage, is a short passage, is that sin tries to manipulate us. Okay, sin makes us to believe that something that is no good for us is actually something that we really should desire. We all know that whenever we tell a kid, "Don't touch that," that object becomes infinitely more desirable. They might not have cared about touching the stove. They might not have cared about picking up the steak knife. But the moment mom says, "Don't touch that," of course their little hands start going. I don't know about yours. My kid does. My kid is like sneaky pants incarnate, okay? That's his mode. That's the only mode he has. Mom says, "Don't do it." I'm going to see how far I can push to get there. Well, that's like us spiritually, okay? We see this played out with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. God puts Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden with a multitude of fruit trees, a multitude of places to touch and eat and be sustained. And he says, "Don't touch this one tree. One tree. I made you an entire garden. Don't touch this one tree." What do? They touch the one tree. They end a perfect society, a perfect utopia situation, because they couldn't stay away from the one thing God said not to touch. And we can look at them and we can judge them and say, "Come on, how stupid was that?" Instead, what we should do is see how that reflects on our own life and say, well, the scripture does only tell me I should stay away from a few things here that are really harmful to my spirit and really harmful to my relationships, really harmful to my life with God. And yet, how often am I drawn to those handful of things, those handful of areas that I am not supposed to touch? Sin, or the devil, takes what God is wanting to protect us from, and he tries to make us believe instead that God is wanting to withhold this thing from us, that God is trying to stop us from having a good time in life, when the truth is God's trying to protect us. How do we overcome this age-old deception, this deception that is as old as time itself? The devil looks at Eve and says, if God really loved you, if God was really telling the truth, if God really wanted you to have everything, he wouldn't have said, "Don't touch that one thing." How do we overcome that lie of the enemy? Through maturity, through intimacy and relationship with God. You'll hear me say that a lot, and it's because intimacy and relationship with God, knowing him one-on-one, can keep us out of so much mess. It is the answer and the key to so much of life's problems, because when we connect with him, when we are intimate with our Creator, when we mature spiritually, God gives wisdom. He grants our eyes to be open to say, "You know what? I know my God. I don't need to touch that, because if he says that's not good for me, I know to stay away from it, because he has proven faithful. He has proven to be truthful. He has proven to have my good, my interest at heart." Okay? When we are intimate in relationship with God, we can say, "I know that he does not withhold good things from his children. So if he is withholding that from me, then it's not good. It's not good for me." Psalm 84:11 says, no good thing does he withhold from those that walk uprightly, from those that walk with integrity, from those that walk towards him and in intimacy with him. No good thing does he withhold. So if God is withholding something from you, if God is holding you back from something, sin or not sin, if God is holding you back from something, there's a reason. And when we trust him, when we have relationship with him, we can say, "I know my God, and I know that he is faithful. I know that he loves me, and if he is keeping me from that, he's protecting me." He's protecting me. Protecting, not withholding. Go and read Romans chapter 7, verses 7 through 13, and the other passage was Psalm chapter 84, verse 11. If no one has told you lately, you are loved and you are cherished and you are valuable. You have beautiful, tremendous worth, my friend, and that worth is far above rubies. Thank you for being here with me today, and I will see you all again tomorrow. God bless you.